What's up, guys? Charles from Team COG, or Champions of Game Time, coming at you with a post-commentary duel video of Magical Musketeers versus True Draco Demise. I will be piloting the True Draco Demise, and our teammate Shane will be piloting the Magical Musketeers. These are both the decks we took to Utah, and Shane will start us both out by summoning Casper and Upstart, practically getting a +1 and giving me 1,000 life points. I missed the days that Upstart was at 3. Let's see here, he goes through his hand. I don't remember what he adds. I think he adds Steady Hands. Or he adds Cross Domination, I can't remember. I know he opens the nuts. He opens Desperado. My hand's not looking too good. I think I have Draith in there. And I played Draith at 2. And I remember just not opening so well. He actually opens the nuts, believe it or not. As you're about to see, he was going to activate, I think, Ties of the Brethren, paying 2,000 life to summon out Kid Brave and the Doc. And Kid Brave is actually a pretty decent threat against my True Dracos because Kid Brave can reach above Masterpiece and pretty much plow over him. And then Doc is just a recycler, which I'm not too worried about. And Casper is actually probably the next big problem besides Kid Brave because he can add cards during my turn and his turn, causing more interruptions and causing more of a hassle for me to get my plays or making my board established. And on top of that, I think he activates Double Summon, so he's going to resolve the Kid Brave, I think, by discarding the Steady Hands and drawing 2 cards. So as you can already tell, he kind of opened the nuts as it is. I'm still not, my hand's pretty bad, but then he activates his Dark World Dealings, where we both draw a card, and I end up drawing into Masterpiece, which is just one of the steps closer I need to get to breaking his board, or getting closer to doing it. I think I end up discarding my 1 Draith, and I'm actually discarding the Draith on pure hope and praying that I get a trap, because I think I have Heritage in my hand at the moment, and the only thing that I need to get in order to break his board or make my Masterpiece or my board rise up to his board is making a Masterpiece immune to spell and traps. But he ends up normal summoning a Starfire, so now he has 4 of the slots taken up, which means I can only activate my spells and traps in 1 zone safely without giving him any advantage. So I activate the Upstart Goblin, giving him 1,000 life points and drawing the card. The deck is he has such a, as you guys can tell, he has 4 monsters, and he has a hand loaded full of traps and spells. So I'll activate Par Duality, revealing Imperial Order, Apocalypse, and Heritage, and I take the Apocalypse because that's just what I need in order to make Masterpiece slam down the field. That is my only hope of breaking this board, and even then it's very iffy depending on what he has in his hand. So now I just do the next best thing that True Dracos are famous for, setting, and then tribute summoning the set cards. So Masterpiece now slams the board, and Apocalypse, or I think that's Apocalypse, would try to get rid of his Casper, and sadly Heritage has no target to get rid of. So now he's contemplating responding, but he realizes that Masterpiece is immune to traps and spells. So he kind of just has to take it. So I get rid of the Casper because I don't want him searching any more cards that can become a problem, like Steady Hands. So now I kind of nonchalantly try to bait an Ash, even though I didn't know he had it, which kind of sucks because I'd much rather would have got the Heritage off, but I had a Desires in hand, so it kind of played out in my favor. But this Desires is complete ass no matter what, so in reality he did the right thing by hitting the Heritage. So I end up drawing into, I think, another trap or another monster, and my second Desires, which is horrible. If anyone knows the feeling of drawing Desires off Desires, it's not a good feeling. So here I activate the Heritage. No, I don't. Yes, I do, but he responds with Despacito, or Desperado, trying to pop it. So I have to respond with the Masterpiece to pop the Doc so he doesn't get to add the Casper or any of the other annoying spell traps that he's activated previously back to his hand. So doing that, he really messed up. So I'm forced to attack into the Starfire because I know he has Steady Hands in his hand, and if I attack into Kid, he'll just activate your damage count, making Kid Brave bigger than my Masterpiece, but Star Power only becomes 26, making Masterpiece stronger by 350. So now, even though he activated, Starfire still gets her effect in a separate chain to summon. I think he brings out the Casper, which is another, again, a great annoyance, because that allows him to get cards and effects during my turn and his turn, giving him advantage and interruptions during both of our turns. Never mind. No, he's just looking through. So he summons the Casper in defense, and Casper's booty is a pretty big booty. It's for a level 3 Fiend. It's a 2k booty, which is really hard to get over with. With steady hands, he becomes 4k, which is almost impossible to get over with. So I set one card. I think it's a bluff. It's my fake Desires that I drew off of Desires, which is horrible. And depending on what he drew, I was actually quite worried because my board was quite fragile. Because if he had anything to stop me from popping the Kid Brave and just had steady hands or a way to get to steady hands, which he does via Casper, he could just easily out my very weak board, even though it's not that weak because Masterpiece is actually very strong. A lot of decks can't handle Masterpiece, especially one so early in the game that causes so much disruption. And I was just very fortunate enough to break through his solid board of Musketeers. So I'm checking my Banish, and I think it was the first time I checked my Banish since I activated Desire, so I was kind of hoping I didn't banish anything key, and I was waiting to see what resources I had left to see if maybe what I could top deck or draw into would help. And he switches the Casper to attack. And I think he's contemplating overlaying, which I don't think he does, because getting rid of your Musketeers on field is not as smart. You have to leave at least one out in order to resolve the spell and traps. And my Giratina is definitely more stronger than his Palkia, so he has to keep that in consideration as well. The Giratina is a good luck charm for me. Since I'm playing True Draco Demise, I don't have an extra deck that's just there for shines. So now I'm going to have to get rid of the Kid Brave, because Casper in attack is not too much of a threat. His attack cannot become bigger than Masterpiece, so I'm not too worried about that. So now I activate Disciples, and I think I don't have enough in the graveyard for Disciples to recycle back. That's what I'm looking at now. So I think I end up just tributing for a Maiden. And it's sad to say I don't get the effect of Disciples off, because he has no spell trap. So Maiden comes down, and this is kind of like the playing I like to do with True Dracos. I don't like just turboing out Masterpiece. I like summoning multiple little Dracos and kind of having an interactive play, even though the deck is pretty much summon the Masterpiece and defend the castle. So now I'm forced to try and force out, see if he has anything in his hand to pop the Casper, and he doesn't, so Masterpiece and the Maiden will get to go through. Also guys, Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays to anyone who doesn't celebrate Christmas. Shane and I are wearing our sweatshirts, so we scooped it up. So that's game 1, Masterpiece proving to be too much at this, landing into a field of Musketeer Fire and coming out on top. Now we're going on to game 2, and game 2 is another rough game for both of us. This game we both kind of open up bad, and I think he opts to go first again because Musketeers need to get set up kind of well, kind of like Dracos. Dracos like to go first so we can summon Maiden or summon Masterpiece set 5, and then Magical Musketeers are like summon Casper, search, activate something, search, have 5 cards in hand to disrupt your plays, or negate something that you do, and continually get to search. So he activates Dark World Dealings, and I open up Double Demise. So this allows me to ditch the Demise, the extra Demise I have, and he summons Doc. And Doc's not a great opening, but there it is with that upstart, and allowing him to pretty much freely add back what he discarded for the Dark World Dealings. And then now I have to, let's see here, he sets a card, and I think that was actually a strike, and the good thing about this deck that I like is it's hand traps, except for Draw and Lock, aren't too bad. But so he activates Ties the Brethren, paying 2,000 to summon out Casper and then Kid Brave. And of course he's putting him in the columns he wants him to, because I remember after learning so many mistakes of activating cards in the same column as these little shits that they get their effects when I do stuff. I've learned to definitely remember the columns that they are not in, and that's where I get free range to do stuff. But I opened Drayeth again, and Drayeth is only at 2. And I really like Drayeth at 2 because there's a lot of combos that you can do with him, like the combo with any True Draco spell and trap and Diagram plus him equals like a +3 or so. He's just a very good card, and he allows like non-targeting destruction to other True Dracos, and he's kind of a weaker replacement for Dynamite, but I only play him at 2. I'm supposed to be able to search him and tribute for him and cause more disruption, but I've just been opening him. And it's not really a lot of interacting going on between us in this duel, because all I'm able to do, I think, is just turbo out Masterpiece, which I really don't like doing. But so now he has the three Stooges out, and looks like I'm gonna be jumping into Musketeer Fire yet again. So I draw into, I can't even remember, I think it's a Pot of Duality, which allows me to dig 3 cards deep and hopefully get something to unbrick my hand. But as you can see, there's a Masterpiece, a Desires, and a Diagram. So I take the Diagram because I already have a handful of monsters, and Desires, I don't want to get my resources banished too early with the Last Stand, Ash, or anything he has. So I'll activate the Diagram, and I'll attempt to resolve its effect, and he'll let it go through. So then that's when I just start popping the monsters off my hand again to get more spell and traps, so I can start establishing a board or setting up to make a comeback. But like I said, it's untelling what he has in his hands. He has 1 card set and 2 cards in hand, so I could easily be jumping into Musketeer Fire. And the scary thing is Casper can get into an additional bullet in the terms of Magical Musketeers, as they are the guns and their spell and traps are the bullets. And Doc can just add back a bullet you've already used, and Kid Brave can just get you more draws. So the deck's very well. It was overhyped, but now it's underrated. The deck, once set up, is very annoying to deal with and almost cannot be dealt with. So I have another Terraforming, so I remember this game now. So I end up going through all 3 double D diagrams, popping through everything until I get to the certain cards that I want to make an established board. So right now I'm not seeing any Ash or any sort of Ghost Ogre, Desperado, Last Stand, anything from him, so I kind of feel like I'm in the safe to go, and that's where I kind of make the mistake. So I popped Ignis, which was also in my hand, along with Draeth too, to add Heritage. Or wait, no, I had Disciples, because now I'm fully loaded for Disciples. But now he's activating Steady Hands, targeting Kid Brave, making him 32, and getting the effect off of Casper to search for any card, any Musketeer card that he wants, which he goes for the Last Stand. And this is where Chain Links go crazy, because now I know he has the Last Stand, so I gotta bait the Last Stand, and I'm very well scared of that set card. And I have all right to be, because deep down inside, my inner being was telling me it is a strike. And you'll soon see that I was right. So I set the Apocalypse. So, yep, and I summon the Maiden. Apocalypse effect to target the... I'm waiting to see what I'm thinking about targeting. So I target the Casper, because I'm not too worried about the Doc, because he doesn't have anything engraved. So I pop the Casper. So I go to activate Disciples to shuffle back 3 to get an additional card. So he's contemplating where, so he puts it behind Doc, and he negates the Disciples. So Disciples will resolve. So I try to chain Maiden to the Doc's effect, so then he shoots me down with Cross Domination, which is a surprise. But Disciples will still resolve and pop the Face Down, which could have been anything, and it turned, and it was a strike. So there you go, guys. Which then he realized he should have striked my Maiden because he left me a monster on field. So then that 1-of card Demise that I had comes in clutch, so I get to draw 3, but I draw into another Diagram and a Terraforming. And I think my last monster is, I want to say, Masterpiece. So the only thing I know to do is activate my final 3rd copy of Diagram and pop the Terraforming. I'll get there eventually. There we go. And I'm trying to sit there, so I pop the Terraforming and I go for True King's Return. Because at this point, I'm kind of in a losing spot. He has 2 monsters, 2 cards in hand. True King's Return will at least allow me to bring back the Masterpiece that I have to ditch, giving me a big booty to hide behind. And along with the Maiden, having the ability to chain to anything that they do, giving me a monster in my hand. So I set the 1-of... Oh, I don't set anything. Yep, there I go. I set the 1-of Secret card in the same column as Brave, because I want him to have to be forced to discard his cards. So I activate Upstart, and this is where I draw into the Masterpiece, because I made the comment of course, this would be the card that I draw into. So there he goes, right to the graveyard, which, you know, on the 3rd day he will rise Masterpiece. So I activate True King's Return during his standby phase to hopefully bring back the Masterpiece to make a booty. There's a wall to hide behind to stall out for as long as I can, because I'm really scared of what he has. And these little shits are actually quite annoying with their ability to just activate stuff from the hand, so you never can read what they have. So he's contemplating on what to do, and he goes to look through his extra deck, which I don't think he really wants to, but he's kind of put in a tough spot. I don't think he drew what he needed, which is a good thing for me, but I don't know that. I'm hiding behind a Maiden and a Masterpiece that can't do anything. However, they are still protected by Diagram, so they can't be plowed over by an attack, and they both do get a boost from Diagram, making Maiden 27 and Masterpiece 3250. So he goes through and he looks through his extra deck, and I don't know what he's contemplating on doing, but if you guys are liking these post-commentary duel videos, let us know in the comment section below, and support our channel. Comment, like, and subscribe for more. We should have some more duel videos for you. So here he goes into the Akahis Magician, bouncing back the true Masterpiece, and that's where he was like, oh shit, why did I do that? So he goes to summon Kid, and this is where I was kind of like, oh no. So then he activates Ties, paying 2,000 again for I think the second time or the first time. So then I chain my True King's Return, tributing the Return and Maiden, and then activating, and then Return activates targeting the Kid. It won't negate Ties because Ties target is a cost, so it'll target the Kid no matter what. So he'll get his two monsters, Casper and Doc, and now I have a Masterpiece that is loaded out, immune to monsters and immune to traps, which is actually not great in this predicament because Magical Musketeer monsters, their effects don't do anything to Masterpieces to spell on traps. All that set card has to be is a cross domination or a steady hands, and he completely can out my Masterpiece. But Masterpiece is loaded with, I think, almost 1 to 2 pops, so he is a threat to him. And I don't know what he's thinking about doing. I'm just reminding him there that Masterpiece is immune to traps and monsters, as much as I wish it was immune to spells just for safety. So now he decides to leave it in defense because I think he's going through. He realizes he's in a tough spot. So Casper in defense is much lucky. He'd much rather leave him like that, so if he tops decks near the next turn any type of Magical Musketeer card, he can activate it from the hand, disrupting more plays and gaining more advantage. So I go to read the Akahis Magician just to make sure on a balloon, and it turned I was correct. So now I think we're just doing table talk, trying to figure out damages. I'm looking at the calculator to see where life is at. Just checking his set to see if he can stop me. So he goes to end his turn, but before he ends his turn, during the end phase, I activate Masterpiece, banishing my Disciples, I do believe. Yep, banishing my Disciples, and I think I'm going to target the Doc, because Doc has an open slot where she can get stuff from, and the card that's set behind Casper I'm not too worried about. But I'll activate Diagram to pop the Maiden that I drew, to search out, I think, another Disciples, and then I will attempt to resolve Disciples and draw one. And see, you'll notice how I did not put it behind my Masterpiece because of the Casper. The last thing I need him to do is get an additional card from the deck to his hand to completely stop my plays. So I go to shuffle back 2 traps and a monster because I don't want to draw into a monster. I'd much rather draw into a trap, even though a monster would be nice, but I'll take a trap. He goes to check his set, and I think the set he has is a strike, which does him no good, and he realizes that in the end, and he ends up scooping. But thank you guys for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Stay tuned for more post-commentary duel videos.